the most important day in American history. Seriously, that's what he said. While he's tearing down the economy, destroying our global alliances, and posting nonsense, he's calling today historic because everything in Trump's world revolves around him. Meanwhile, Jim Jordan is busy holding hearings to attack judges because Trump thinks they're mean to him. Imagine that. Judges following the Constitution and ensuring due process, and Trump's response is, "Jim, can you fix this for me?" And Jim, ever the obedient lapdog, says, "Of course, Donald, whatever you want." Absolutely pathetic. And while Trump is whining about judges, he's also attacking big law firms, trying to force settlements and intimidate lawyers. This is the guy MAGA wants running the country again, as Donald Trump continued to take a wrecking ball to the United States economy and to our international alliances and our standing in the world. This is the type of stuff that Donald Trump was posting yesterday. A photo of MAGA Republican Congress member Jim Jordan gesturing with his fingers. What about Donald Trump's very small and tiny brain? What's Jim Jordan even doing here? Oh, he's holding a hearing to look at the left-wing activist judges. Oh yes, the MAGA Republicans are spending time attacking the judges who Donald Trump says are being mean to him because Donald Trump wants to invoke war powers to kidnap migrants and, without due process, send them to concentration camps in El Salvador and revoke temporary protected status of over 350,000 Venezuelans. By the way, the Venezuelan community had previously been supportive of Donald Trump, but Trump wanted to do it, and federal judges are saying, hold off for now, we need to determine if there should be due process because our Constitution calls for due process. And then Donald Trump's like, well, they're being mean to me. These unfair judges are being meanie heads to me. So, Jim Jordan, can you hold the hearing? And Jim Jordan's like, yeah, Donald, whatever you want, I'll hold the hearing. So absolutely pathetic. Also, yesterday, Donald Trump was attacking other law firms, big law firms, and trying to make them do settlements with him. All of this, by the way, while Donald Trump says today he calls it the most important day in American history. Trump is pushing his so-called Liberation Day, planning to impose tariffs worldwide, but he hasn't clarified the details. As of yesterday, or even this morning, he refuses to explain whether these tariffs will be universally applied at the same rate for all countries, or if they'll be customized for each nation. What exactly is his strategy? Instead of addressing it, he spent his time posting photos of Jim Jordan. Meanwhile, in Wisconsin, Judge Susan Crawford secured a major victory against MAGA-backed candidate Brad Schimmel in a Supreme Court race. Despite Elon Musk pouring tens of millions into Schimmel's campaign, pro-democracy voters prevailed because Americans, especially Wisconsinites, are outraged. They see what Trump, Musk, and their allies have done, seizing control of the government, undermining veterans and federal workers, slashing Social Security services, and giving massive tax breaks to billionaires. Trump's policies have cut $880 billion from Medicaid while granting $4.5 trillion in tax breaks for the wealthy. It's devastating. And now, even MAGA Republicans like Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina are admitting that these tariffs will bring economic pain and suffering. Why do Trump and Musk keep insisting that Americans need to suffer? Here's what they had to say.
Anyone who says there may be a little bit of pain before we get things right need to talk about farmers who are one crop away from bankruptcy. They don't have time, so we've got to be crisp on this implementation. Otherwise, we could do damage that's irreparable to farmers.
As the president has admitted, tariffs will create pain for some businesses, and I think Wisconsin will be particularly hard hit with all the manufacturing and agricultural interests. He's used tariffs in the past effectively to get nations do what they should have done anyway. Right now, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm concerned.
We've already heard from some of our beef processors, popcorn exporters, that they're losing some market share in Europe. So it is concerning. And but I'm all for fair trade, reciprocal tariffs. I think in the end, a trade war doesn't help anybody.
Yesterday, we also witnessed Senator Cory Booker deliver what was one of the longest Senate speeches in history. In his address, he highlighted the damage caused by figures like Trump, Doge, and Musk to the U.S. economy, its international alliances, and global standing. Here's a clip of Senator Booker's speech. Check it out here.
That others are threatening. Let's get back to our founding documents, that those imperfect geniuses had some very special words at the end of the Declaration of Independence. It was one of the greatest in all of humanity declarations of interdependence. When our founder said we must mutually pledge to each other, our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We need that now from all Americans. This is a moral moment. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong. Let's get in good trouble. My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
Additionally, even Fox News discussed the topic, with Peter Doocy unable to clearly explain Trump's tariffs. He questioned whether these tariffs would be universal or customized to each country. Here's that clip for you.
Play
it here.
His mind, but we are told he has settled on one of two possibilities: either a 20% flat tariff or adjustable tariffs, where we are the United States is implementing something on another country based on what their tariff is on us.
I'd like to share this with you as well. Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat, discusses how he says, "Newsflash, these Trump and MAGA folks are incompetent." He emphasizes that it's not surprising that these unqualified individuals are making poor decisions, as people who lack qualifications tend to do. And then, instead of owning up to it, they try to cover it up, which only makes matters worse.
Newsflash,
here's
these
the
guys
clip. Check it out
they
here.
They don't know what they're doing. I mean, we hired a weekend Fox News host with no diplomatic or management experience, with a checkered personal history of abuse and alcoholism, to be our chief national security official. And it's going very badly. I don't know that anybody could have seen this coming. The reality is that, these revelations are really worrying, but, their contempt for remediation is even more worrying. They opened and closed an investigation in about 48 hours. They haven't announced any change in practice. For all they know, they're continuing to conduct sensitive business on Signal or on Gmail. For all we know, they are continuing to include non-administration officials on those message threads.
With all of this going on, is there any stability? No. Is there any articulation of a plan or policy? No. What are we hearing about yesterday? Well, the Washington Post got this scoop. A senior White House official said the administration is currently analyzing the estimated cost of acquiring Greenland, including factoring in the cost of providing government services to its citizens. Budget officials are still working to determine what the cost could be. White House officials say the story is White House studying costs of Greenland takeover, long in Trump's sights. It's the most concrete effort yet to turn Trump's desire to acquire the Danish territory into actionable policy, despite widespread international outrage. They're going through the financial costs of going to war against a NATO ally. Denmark Greenland is within the territory of the Kingdom of Denmark, by the way. The new Greenland Prime Minister says they're looking forward to having the Danish Prime Minister visit Greenland. Trump is focused on budget projections related to the costs of going to war and taking over other countries. That's what the Trump administration is spending its time on. And what's even more surprising is that the Washington Post is covering it as if it's just another typical conversation. This is being discussed in the opinion section of the Wall Street Journal. But tariffs won't bring a boom in American manufacturing, but tax credits, subsidized loans, and grants could boost U.S. production energy. And some products, quote, "This comes from the op-ed, and it seems like Murdoch is trying to give Trump some advice." It's as if Murdoch is saying, "Listen, you're missing the point. Let me help you understand what you need to do to actually boost the economy." The op-ed points out, "We know of no example in the history of advanced economies where sweeping tariffs have had the positive effects that the Trump team believes are waiting for us after this tariff push." This is from Bloomberg, which also warns that Trump's 25% tariffs could hand the car industry over to China, potentially leading to a future where Beijing dominates the automotive industry. The article further notes, if you want to bring manufacturing jobs back to the heartlands of America, targeting these two Asian allies is a strange way to go about it. This is the situation we're facing right now.